opinion. I think there's 3 guys that I'm comfortable saying are 3 of the 5 best players ever. Okay. Kareem, LeBron, and
JJ Redick walked into a moment he never saw coming, and it didn't hit him until it was already in his face. When Andre Iguodala locked eyes with him and calmly stated that Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan had no flaws, the atmosphere in the room changed instantly. The weight of that comment was obvious as JJ shifted in his seat, sensing the mood snap in real time. The pressure was almost tangible through the screen, signaling that this was no longer a friendly discussion, but a direct challenge. Iguodala's words struck straight at the LeBron is the GOAT narrative JJ often supports, and JJ's reaction made it clear he knew the momentum had suddenly shifted against him.
I don't like talking about guys' flaws, but if we're talking about the greatest ever, we should be allowed to pick apart people's games. That's all I'm saying. You can't have any flaws.
JJ immediately began searching for a way out, shifting definitions, dodging key points, and trying to reshape the argument as if no one would notice. He kept twisting his words, hoping he could soften the impact, but it was already too late. Everyone watching could see exactly what was happening. Andre hadn't just made a comment. He had drawn a clear, unmistakable line through NBA history and dared anyone to challenge it. The moment hit so hard that the entire conversation shifted instantly, leaving JJ with no choice but to sit there and take it. That single statement didn't just start a debate, it reopened the entire basketball world, like someone pulling the pin on an argument everyone thought was finally over. Where you can direct a voice, create realistic dialogue, and so much more. Edit these placeholders to get started.
Because everybody, when they talk about the most skilled players, the same guys always get brought up. It's Kyrie, it's Kobe, maybe Kevin Durant's in there. They don't talk about LeBron.
Suddenly, everyone had something to say. Fans, analysts, former players, because that statement struck a nerve people like to pretend doesn't exist. That's when things really heated up, revealing just how divided the basketball world still is over legacy, greatness, and what flawless truly means. People often talk as if they're all watching the same game, but once Iguodala stood firmly on his words, the divide became impossible to ignore. He didn't blink, hesitate, or soften a single syllable. He said it clearly and confidently, as if it were already carved in stone. Kobe had no flaws. Then he doubled down, repeating it with the same calm certainty, like he was stating a fact rather than an opinion. He followed that by saying Michael Jordan shouldn't even be compared to anyone else. He belongs in a category of his own.
They don't talk about Shaq because to them, the best player is based on aesthetics, not necessarily performance and effectiveness.
The moment Iguodala said it, the conversation instantly shifted from casual basketball talk into a deep philosophical showdown about greatness, perfection, and what it truly means to be built differently in the sport. This wasn't about hype or nostalgia. It was coming from someone who had actually played against these legends and seen them up close. That credibility turned the moment from spicy to explosive in seconds. This wasn't a random fan talking. This was Andre Iguodala, a finals MVP and one of the sharpest defenders of his era, a player who went to war with these legends on the court. He wasn't speaking from highlight clips or old memories, but from real bruises, real matchups, and nights where greatness stared him down possession after possession. To Iguodala, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan weren't just great players. They were on an entirely different level, operating where regular stars couldn't reach. Beneath that praise, however, was a subtle jab aimed at someone he never named, but everyone in the room immediately felt. When Iguodala said Kobe had no flaws, it landed on JJ Redick like a body shot. The air tightened and the real tension set in. JJ knew exactly what he heard, but he wasn't about to step into a fight he couldn't win. He didn't dare argue that Kobe or MJ weren't flawless, knowing no one survives that debate on camera. Instead of taking it head-on, he tried to flip the conversation sideways. JJ didn't challenge the legends directly. He changed the rules of the discussion, hoping the switch wouldn't be noticed. Everyone watching saw the strategy clearly, which only made the moment heavier. Rather than addressing the core point, JJ grabbed onto the word flaw and reshaped its meaning on the spot, shifting the debate away from pure skill and toward resume and accomplishments.
Kobe had no flaws.
Suddenly, JJ began bringing up championships, eras, longevity, advanced stats, and every angle that had nothing to do with what Iguodala was actually saying. He shifted the conversation toward career context instead of footwork, instincts, or that cold-blooded talent you simply can't teach. Even as he talked in circles, everyone watching understood exactly what he was doing. He didn't have to say a name. Once he changed the rules, he quietly slipped LeBron into the discussion, as if guiding him through a side door. JJ felt the weight of Iguodala's statement, and instead of stepping straight into the fire, he tried to build a detour around it. He knew what Iguodala meant, and so did everyone else. This wasn't about trophies or longevity. It was about raw skill, the natural mastery Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan carried as second nature. And when the conversation turns to pure talent, pure bag, and pure instinct, the room knew there were weaknesses that couldn't be hidden.
Working against Iguodala. And on the crossover, Kobe! Putting on a huge display at the end of this one. Do you think the Laker fans here are enjoying it just a little?
They called him for the push-off, but on his last basket, they didn't call him for anything as he whoops. And then
That's when the energy shifted again, because JJ's switch-up didn't calm the moment, it only made it louder. JJ clearly wanted no part of that direction in the conversation, but the twist was that Iguodala wasn't finished, not even close. He still had more to say, and what came next hit even harder than his first statement. The pressure in the room spiked as he stepped directly into the one topic nobody ever wants to say out loud. The uncomfortable truth was suddenly impossible to avoid. JJ was doing verbal footwork around LeBron's flaws, because everyone knows those weaknesses exist, even if they rarely get acknowledged on camera. LeBron is undeniably great, one of the best to ever play. That was never the debate. But greatness and flawlessness are two very different things, and Iguodala made that distinction clear without ever raising his voice. LeBron has areas fans prefer to ignore. His free throws can be inconsistent, his handle is strong but not elite, and his clutch performances are questioned every season because sometimes he delivers and sometimes he doesn't. Even his shot creation relies more on strength and power than the surgical precision Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were known for. Iguodala never said LeBron wasn't a legend, but his message landed with the force of a punch on the table.
James gets inside, but misses it, comes up short. Here comes James ahead of the pack, goes up. Oh, he does it. The Jokic stolen by James. Keeps it alive. James drives baseline, layup, missed it.
Greatness and perfection are not the same thing, and the numbers have always reflected that difference. Kobe Bryant was automatic at the free throw line, and Michael Jordan was as well. LeBron James, by comparison, has long hovered around the low 70% range. We've also seen high-pressure moments where the ball slipped away when the game demanded everything from him. That isn't hate or an agenda, it's simply the reality the league has witnessed for years. And this is where the conversation gets even more complicated because it leads straight to the core of the debate: Kobe, MJ, and the idea of perfection. This is the part no one can avoid, and it's where the discussion only gets louder.
For his spot. Air ball.
And a good look. It's in and out. LeBron James misses the layup there. He's not done.
Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan weren't just elite scorers. They were fully complete players who made the game look like something they had designed themselves. They dominated the mid-range, terrorized opponents defensively, and stayed mentally unshakable in the loudest, tightest moments. Iguodala wasn't handing out casual praise. He was setting a standard in real time, a level so high that there were no weak links anywhere in their games, not in effort,
not in focus and not in execution. Every possession they touched was dangerous because they never broke, never panicked, and never gave anything away for free. Ask real NBA defenders who actually had to guard them, and they'll tell you the truth without hesitation. You couldn't game plan for Michael Jordan because every counter had another counter waiting. You couldn't crack Kobe because he studied your weaknesses before you even stepped on the floor. There was nothing you could confidently circle on a scouting report and exploit. Nothing to attack, nothing to hide behind. That's why a huge question hung in the air after Iguodala spoke. If perfection is the bar he just set, can LeBron even belong in that same conversation? That question alone explains why JJ Redick felt the need to push back. JJ isn't just a retired shooter with a podcast anymore. He's become a major media voice tied to modern NBA thinking, built around analytics, efficiency, advanced stats, and a redefined version of legacy. So when Iguodala called Kobe and MJ flawless, JJ wasn't reacting like someone having a casual basketball debate. He was responding like someone protecting an entire modern framework of greatness, one based on numbers, context, and long-term impact rather than raw skill alone. That's why he couldn't let the statement sit. In JJ's view, greatness isn't just about how skilled you are, but what you turn that skill into over time. And in that lane, LeBron's resume, stacked with longevity, wins, numbers, and influence, is nearly untouchable. So JJ did what many media figures do when someone they admire comes under real pressure.